is WVVA in Focus, a weekly program about important issues and events in the two Virginias.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Melinda Zosh. This morning, we are putting the spotlight on a local author and her book. The author's name is Elaine Zimmerman. She'll be talking about her new book, Terrebonne. Also joining us this morning via Zoom is Sheena Pendley with Sheena Pendley Design and Photography. So I'll bring the ladies in a moment, but first, Robin, I want to start with you. I'm very curious, what inspired you to write this book I'm holding right here called Terrebonne?
It literally started with a lantern about 20 years ago. I brought a lantern home from an antique store and I set it down in the floor of this room that wasn't finished, that I kind of was just collecting things in. And I started thinking about all the places the lantern had been and like if it could speak, all the stories it would tell and how many paths did it light for people over the years. And I literally just started jotting down some thoughts, and I didn't know that it would be a book, and then 20 years later, it's a book.
Well, that's so cool how that inspiration hit you, too, and you just mentioned that 20 years later it became a book. So I guess walk our viewers through the process from start to finish of how it started in your mind, you put down some notes, and then it became a published book.
Yeah, I write like a lot of writers. I'm constantly just jotting things down, song lyrics, poetry, what have you. And over the years, I'd pack it away, and then I'd clean my office and pull things out and try to reorganize, and I'd find it, and I'd be like, oh, that's so cool, and I'd add more to it. Over the years, more characters popped into my head, and at some point, I realized, oh my gosh, there's a lot here. This is going to be an entire book, not just a short story. And so I just kept pulling it out over the years and working on it. And I'd go to writers' conferences and come back and get inspired and pull it out and write on it some more. Or some event would happen in my life that would put a character in my head and I'd add to it. But at some point about 5 years ago, I realized this is going to be a novel. This is going to be a book. So yeah, it kind of just evolved over 20 years.
That's so cool. We actually have some images of the book I'd like to share with our viewers so they can see what it looks like. I'm holding it here. Robin sent me this copy and I just started reading it. And let me tell you what, Robin, I can't put it down. I just started, but it's so interesting. So I'm just curious, is this your first published book?
I have a children's book that I wrote about 5 years ago when I was planning on putting this book out. It's under a pen name, and I worked with a gentleman named Josh for illustrations. But this is my first novel, and this is the book I'm most proud of, and this is the one that I feel like is going to lead to a bunch of other projects that are already in the works.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm excited to share with our viewers about some of those other projects, but I do want to let our viewers know that you can go on Amazon and purchase the book for $9.99 in paperback, so it's a great gift idea if you're looking to pick up a novel yourself and you'd like to read it. So we'll get to some more information on like this book release party that's coming out in just a moment. But Robin, I'd like our viewers to get to know you a little bit more. So share with them where you grew up, where you live now, and just more about your writing career and why you love it so much.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in West Virginia. I'm a West Virginia native, mostly Greenbrier County. I just moved to Raleigh County in July for some different reasons, but mostly Greenbrier County. I was a newspaper reporter for the past 11, 12 years. I still do some of that as a stringer, as assigned. I haven't done any for a while because this book has took precedence, which I'm happy about. But I have a degree in business, so I've managed and ran a couple businesses in the area, including a nonprofit. But in March, when my mom passed away suddenly, I shifted gears. I was doing so much. I was running 3 companies and a nonprofit. I'm a realtor, writing for a newspaper. And when my mom passed away in March, it was kind of a wake-up call. And I just wanted to still all the noise and chaos around me and focus on what I thought the Lord was calling me to do, which was to finish this project that started so many years ago.
Yeah, well, we're certainly happy you did, and that our viewers can now purchase this book on Amazon as well. So excited for you and to see what's next. Now, Sheena, I have some questions for you as well. You did the cover photo for this book, and we have some more images to share with our viewers of that. But explain how you created this artwork and why you chose the image that you did for the book.
So when Robin first reached out, she was working with a good friend of mine, Ashley, who actually did the design for the cover. So Robin had a photo in her mind, and she explained it to me, and we brought that vision to life. So we planned out the photo shoot, myself and my second photographer, and we had a perfect location in mind. When we got there, the location was shut down. So we had to go to a different location. So when we got to the location that was in the actual cover, it was starting to get dark, which worked to our advantage. The lantern looks great in the dark background. My assistant had fog going. It was a really good experience. And we were able to create the image that was in Robin's head.
Right, and the image is so good. I mean, so is it an actual photograph? Because it almost looks like it could be a painting, possibly.
So the photograph is completely just one photo. The lantern being lit, that's the only part that's added in post.
Oh, really, really cool artwork there. And Sheena, you're also doing a book release for Robin coming up on Friday, February 4th. So can you share some details about that with our viewers?
Yes, so our studio is located in downtown Lewisburg, and every first Friday of the month we have First Fridays after 5 where all the storefronts stay open late. So we decided to have the book release party on first Friday of February. We're going to have books available, so Robin will be doing in-person signings and showing the book trailer. We'll have tea and grams, which is referenced in the book. We'll have iced coffee and cookies. And then anyone who wants to just come to check out the studio, it will be open to the public from 5 until about 8 o'clock.
Perfect. And for those who are coming from outside of town, maybe farther away from Greenbrier County, like down in the Bluefield area, tell us like the address and the name on the studio so they know what to look out for.
Okay, our business name is Sheena Penley Design and Photography, and we're located on Court Street in downtown. We're directly across from Jeremy's Barbershop. That's a good staple in town. It's a good point of reference. Most people know where that is. So we're right in the middle of downtown. So anywhere you park in downtown, if you're frequenting the shops, it's within walking distance anywhere downtown.
Well, lots of exciting things going on, ladies. We do have to take a quick commercial break. We have much more to talk about. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus, everyone. This morning we are talking to local author Elaine Zimmerman about her new book, Terrebonne. I have it right here. And we're also speaking with Sheena Penley, who designed the artwork on the book, and she's been involved with planning a release party at her studio in Lewisburg coming up on February 4th. But Robin, I'll start with you. I want to read to our viewers what an excerpt says on the back of your book. So I'm just going to read this out for our viewers. This caught my attention right away. So it says, 2 years isn't long enough to recover from a broken heart, but it's plenty of time for Carla's anger to simmer for the God who took the love of her life. And when he then takes her 9-year-old son, Isaac, when he disappears without a trace from an antique store, her anger boils over. So that's a very powerful line. Share with our viewers more on what your book is really about. And I saw on Amazon it has a description that it's set in Louisiana, I believe in the 1850s, if I'm not mistaken. Can you share some more information with our viewers about your book?
Yeah, so when the book opens, Carla's husband has been gone for 2 years, and she's just not over it. Not only is she not over it, but she just grows angrier and angrier with God, who she sees as an Indian giver. God gave her this wonderful husband, and then he took him from her. And in her mind, and she has a really good explanation as to why God does not understand what that feels like to lose somebody you love. And so her and her son start finding solace in antique stores. That's hard to say, in antique stores. Unexplainably, they're not sure why they're drawn to these antique stores, but they start finding some comfort there. And then one day in the antique store, her son Isaac disappears. So this book becomes the search for Isaac, but in her search for Isaac, also that reconnect with God that she has lost. And it takes them to 1856 Terrebonne Peerage. So anyone dealing with grief, I feel like will enjoy this book and hopefully take something out of it. But also anyone who likes a Victorian read, a historical read will enjoy this book. So it's really about her search for God, and does he understand what pain feels like? Does he really truly understand loss? And if he does, how and why? And I think with so many people who've lost people with COVID and other accidents and illnesses, I think there's just a large target audience for people who want to know if God understands.
Well, like you said, like a lot of people have dealt with loss during COVID, or just, you know, a sense of loneliness and things like that. And this book would also be great for those who are just history lovers and who want to pick up something new and interesting to read. Do you have a specific target demographic with this book? Is it men as opposed to women, or a certain age group, or is it just good for anyone who wants a good read?
I do think that we're finding women are reading it more than men. That wasn't purposeful, but I guess writing first person from a women's character is that just naturally is happening. But we do have some men readers who really enjoy it because they're dealing with anger. Maybe not anger from grief, but things happen to us and we get angry at God for it. And not only is Carla experiencing grief, but she's angry. And so there's so many people, I think, that are finding some comfort in this book that I didn't even expect would, for various reasons. And it's really bringing joy to my heart to see that.
Well, it sounds like you've received some excellent feedback from those who have read your book. And let's let our viewers know where they can purchase it. I mentioned that it is available on Amazon, but where else can viewers go out and purchase your book, Robin?
It's also available on Barnes & Noble. And then there are some local bookstores that are getting ready to put it in. There's a Christian bookstore in Beckley. There's a design studio, Consign and Design, in Beckley as well. I'm just now getting back to this area in Lewisburg to see where we can get that in more locally to people. But right now, the best place is going to be Amazon or Barnes & Noble.
And Sheena, you did the cover photo, and we'll do the cover photos for the next 4 books, and 3 are compilations of short stories and poetry, and the 4th is a follow-up to Terrebonne. So tell us more about what's next for you, Sheena, and why your role with the cover art is so crucial to this book.
Yes, I'm so excited for the new covers coming out. So we have a strategic plan in place. So each cover will be an Easter egg, a little glimpse into what the book is about without giving it all away. They will focus on different seasons. That is one detail I am allowed to say. They will focus on different seasons depending on what the book is about.
And can you, Sheena, also touch more on why cover art is so important to a book? I mean, really, when you see a book on a shelf, it's what can make or break someone picking it up to even look at it and see what it's about. Touch more on why that art is so crucial.
Absolutely. So after the photo shoot, we provided Robin and the designer Ashley with an entire gallery of photos to choose from. So based on the layout, she could pick a photo that could be really eye-catching. So I love that they chose this one with the lantern, and I was able to add the light to the lantern afterwards just to give it a little pop that it really does bring the viewer in to just wonder what this book is about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it certainly is eye-catching. And Robin, can you touch more on what's next with your works as well?
Yeah, so, you know, as I said, as most writers that I know in all my groups and circles, all of us write short stories and poems, and we're just constantly jotting stuff down. I've put some of them out on social media, and people have asked for them to be in book form. So we're in the process of doing a trilogy. We're going to have 3 books come out that are a group of short poems and short stories. The first one is going to be Feathers from the Nest, and then we have Broken Branches, and then we have Rotten Roots. So we have 3 poems, books of poems coming out there. And then I did not think Terrebonne was going to have a follow-up. I always thought it was kind of like The Shack or Fried Green Tomato Feel, and it was kind of a standalone. But so many people that read it have asked so many questions about Isaac. So we just need to answer those questions for people. So the second book is in the process of being written, and Lord willing, we'll get that out by the end of the year.
Okay, well, definitely keep us updated. We'll want to follow up with an interview with you about your sequel. So, Sheena, what is your favorite part of Robin's book? If you had to pick one thing that you love the most about Terrebonne, what is it?
So I had been anticipating getting my very own hard copy of the book. I much prefer hard copy than digital. Robin just brought the book to me today, so I'm so excited to just dive into it, and I'll probably have it finished by the time we have the book release party next week, because I've heard such good things about it.
So Ashley's not read the book, Sheena has not read the book is what she's saying.
Yeah.
Which is fine. When we made it available for download for Kindle, we knew that a lot of people like book in hand. They like the feel of the pages. They like the smell of the ink. I'm the same way too. And we've just been so busy to even be able to get that book in hand for her. That literally just happened today. So she kind of went in blindly and listened to mine and the book publisher Ashley's gut on the cover. And she just pulled it together. She was awesome.
Yeah, awesome indeed. Yeah, we'll have to follow up with you as well, Sheena, to see what your favorite part of the book was once you finished it. And Robin, what about you? What's your favorite part of the book, or even your favorite part writing the book?
My favorite part writing the book was just every time I picked it up and a new character popped in my head and the story went in a different direction than even me as a writer didn't expect. But following the book about 5 years ago, my absolute favorite part was when we filmed the book trailer, which will be showing at the book release party on the 4th. But when we did that, we worked with so many local people. There's so much value in working with people local to West Virginia. People think when you have a dream and a goal, you need to go to Hollywood or Nashville or whatever, but there's so many talented people right here in our state, and being able to work with them, with Sheena and Ashley, and we had Brian Allen that filmed the book trailer. We had Jenna Quan Brown do the costumes for the 1850 period, and she was with the Greenbrier Valley Theater. We had Elaine Preston and Jamison Vance were actors that were in that, and just networking locally and utilizing all the local talent. Guy Weston did the voiceover. He's from Alderson. That was my favorite part, meeting people and utilizing the talent in our state to get this story out to people.
All right, ladies, we do have to take another quick break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus. This morning we've been discussing a new book called Terrebonne. I'd like to bring back in author Robin Elaine Zimmerman and Sheena Pendley, who did the cover art. So Robin, I'll start with you. What do you hope viewers take away from your book?
I hope they find comfort. I hope that they realize that everybody is going through a rough time, again, whether it be anger or sadness or confusion, and that there is somebody upstairs that is watching and listening and understands even when we think that nobody understands what we're going through, and we can pull through it. We can all pull through this.
And Robin, it seems like your faith impacted your book and your work. Can you touch more on that?
Yeah, 100% it did. And we all fall short. Actually, at one point, I told my web designer I wanted to call my website theangrychristian.com because she was like, no, don't do that, don't do that. But I said it shows that even as Christians, we can get angry and we can get upset and we can start to falter in our faith. So 100% it pulled me through time and time again. And it was funny because the book didn't finish itself until I stilled my mind. And I think it's so important. I was looking for burning bushes of when the timing was right. I was looking for thunder from the sky. But Jesus says to go out on the mountain and watch, because the Lord will pass by. He tells Elijah, and the winds blow and God's not in it. And the earth shakes and God's not in it. And the fire comes and God's not in it. And then when all of that stops, you hear a still whisper from Christ. And I think I had to do that. I think I had to stop all the craziness around me and still my mind for a minute. And I hope other people do that too. Still your mind, curl up with a good book, and find some answers to questions that you've been wondering about for a while.
Yeah, definitely some great advice. And Robin, will you be going around the state on a book tour, out of state at some point? I know we touched on the book release party coming up at Sheena's studio, but what about like traveling around West Virginia or the region for a book tour?
COVID obviously makes it difficult, but if people ask for it, if people want it, I will be there. I will be wherever anybody wants me. So, anyone that book clubs, I know there's some book clubs that are reading the book right now. Any book club that wants to invite me to come and discuss some of the little Easter eggs that are hidden in the book and even in the cover that we haven't disclosed yet. Yeah, if we need a book tour, if that's what the Lord wants, that's what'll happen.
And Robin, where can viewers connect with you and follow your journey as a writer? Like, do you have like a social media page, website, anything you could share with our viewers where they can keep in touch with you?
Yeah, I have a website. It's robinelaine.org, and I am on all the social media platforms at Real Robin Elaine or Real Writing Robin. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I'm at Real Writing Robin.
Okay, so perfect. Our viewers can find you pretty much on every social media platform. That's good. And Sheena, what have you learned as a person and as a professional as part of your work on putting together the cover art for this book and working with Robin and working with her on this book release party as well?
Working with Robin has been such a great experience. I was just talking to her before we got on here about how it's amazing. She started as a client, now she's become a really good friend. And I feel like all of us as Christians are just praying that God would shine a light on our life to know which direction we need to continue going in. And I feel like this meeting Robin and working on this book was definitely part of his plan. And I'm just thankful for that.
Wonderful. And Robin, again, remind our viewers where they can purchase the book if they're interested. Again, it's called Terrebonne. Here's a look at the work, and we have some images to share with our viewers so they can see a closer look at it. But just remind our viewers where they can go purchase it.
Yeah, they can get the book on Amazon.com, also on BarnesandNoble.com. And if anyone wants an autographed copy, they can actually just email author@robinelaine.org and just put in the subject line autographed copy, and we mail those out as well. We've had quite a few people request those. So you can get autographed copies if you just email author@robinelaine.org.
All right, good to know. And that might be a good present for a loved one as well. And Sheena, we have just a little over about 3 to 4 minutes left in our segment, so I want to get to you and Robin both on some concluding thoughts. Any concluding thoughts on what you'd like our viewers to take away from Robin's new book?
I obviously want to discuss the book a lot. The book's very important to me, the stories and the characters that people can experience and walk through 1856 Terrebonne Parish when they read is important to me. But one of the most important things is relationships and networking, and that is what has been so fun, is meeting Sheena and working with the local publisher Ashley with Happy Scribe Media, and just all the people that we've met and been able to grow with and network with.
Yeah, and Sheena, that's a good question for you because you haven't read the book yet. So again, I'll ask you some questions after you've had a chance to read it and maybe get your hardcover book. But any concluding thoughts from you on the importance of working on such a big project like this book and doing the art for it? And maybe any advice for those out there who are looking to collaborate with an author or just on a project in general?
I would encourage anyone who is a creative or small business owner, just get out and talk to people. I was so shy before, but I quickly learned as a business owner, you have to get out and talk to people, and collaborating with people who are like-minded with you, it just opens a world of possibilities for you as a person and as a business owner. I actually run a local group of creatives, and that is how I met Ashley, the designer for the cover. So she had referred Robin to us to do the photography for the book and the website. So it always pays off just to go out and talk to people and make friends
Yeah, definitely. Those relationships are
COVID.
crucial.
Like COVID.
Right,
Get out.
exactly. Exactly. Robin, do you have any advice to those who are maybe looking to start a project like writing a book? They have an idea in their head, but they haven't necessarily put it to paper yet or typed it up. I know you mentioned something really that stood out to me about how you let your mind be still, and that's when the book finally came together. What advice would you offer for those who are looking to start a project?
I'd say just write. You're never going to be as good as you want to be. It's never going to be as perfect as you want it to be. You need to just write. Just get those thoughts on paper. The editing comes later. Just get those thoughts out there. Just write every day, even if you're writing 4 or 5 sentences, because you never know when something you wrote 20 years ago is going to be used in something that you're putting out today. So just write. Just do it.
Yep. That's all you have to do. Just give it a try. And like you said, the editing process comes after the fact, after you've already put your thoughts into pen and paper. Well, Sheena, Robin, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, that does it for this edition of In Focus, but I do want to let our viewers know that if you have an idea, if you'd like to be a part of this show, it airs every Sunday at 9 a.m. It's about people and events in the two Virginias. If you have an idea, if you'd like to be interviewed as part of this segment, you can feel free to send me an email. That's mzosh, M-Z-O-S-H, at WVVA.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. But that does it for us. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you right back here next Sunday.